Happy Valentine's Day, Rose.
Happy Valentine's Day, Janice.
How are you today?
Good, how are you?
Good, thanks.
Good.
We're laughing because we're having a little conversation before I pressed record about which FlossTube video this is, and I'm pretty sure it's number 43. So welcome to Traditional Stitches FlossTube video number 43. I'm Janice Spencer, the owner of Traditional Stitches, and with me today is Rose Heck, our stitch-along leader.
Good morning, Janice. It's happy whatever it is. So
yeah,
we're both in red. So
yep. Yep, and for all kinds of reasons, we're in red. So what have you and Rob got planned for Valentine's Day?
Nothing, because he is up north this week.
Oh.
So unfortunately, my plans that I had planned kind of went awry. So we'll probably do something on the weekend. So, you know, after being married for 42 years, really every day should be Valentine's Day. So I'd like to think. So anyway, do you have plans?
I like that. Yes, we are going to try a new Italian restaurant in Calgary. So it's always packed full of people whenever we drive by. I hope that's a really good sign that it's going to be awesome.
Good, good.
Yeah, looking
Sounds
forward to that.
wonderful.
Yeah. So besides it being Valentine's Day, it's a very exciting day in traditional Stitches land for two big reasons. One is that we're winding up our last year's stitch along, and we're getting launched on our 2024 stitch along. So we've got tons of information to share with you today. The Hands Across the Sea stitch alongs. I have to talk about the upcoming Nashville Needlework Market, and you and I are going to share our top 5-ish list from the previews that we've seen so far. I've got a quick hand-dyed linen parade, and then we're going to talk about plans. So I have like 8 pages of notes today, so we're just going to get going with it.
Sounds good.
Wow. So today is kind of a bittersweet day because this is the final day of our Lucy Barber stitch along. And so she was just such a fun sampler to stitch. And of course, when I say red was a theme for today besides Valentine's Day, all of our samplers today have quite a bit of red in them. So this is the chart for Lucy Barber, and she had a great amount of red, including these satin stitch flowers. So just and a fun sampler. I know I didn't stick to the stitch along schedule. I just zipped through and got it done in pretty quick time because I loved every single stitch. So do you have your Lucy to show us?
Yes, let me just, I have to stand up because she's just over here.
Okay.
So I did get her framed, and I can't remember, but the day of, the day after, and I had a frame that fit her pretty closely. So just back up. So she works, and she's hanging up sort of behind me and up on the wall. So I do a lot of searching thrift stores, antique stores and stuff to find frames, and I've given up on trying to find specific size frames. I'll buy frames that I like and hope later that they fit something. So
right, or you've got the skills to cut them down a little bit if you need to.
That skill set I'm still working on.
Okay.
So it's harder than you think.
I can't even imagine. I've got a bunch of frames that I need to cut down for samplers too. And to get the really nice corner on the miter and put them back together and stuff.
Exactly. So work in progress.
Good. Well, she looks beautiful. And
thank you. Yeah, she's holding a place of honor on my wall. So I've been doing some finagling the last couple of weeks with sampler walls and stuff. So it's kind of fun. There's a lot of holes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So one thing that I wanted to mention, because we're talking about old stitch alongs and new stitch alongs, is that we run our Hands Across the Sea samplers, limited edition stitch alongs, a little bit differently. So and we learned that when we did Ann Morrison, which don't ask me for the chart because we don't have any more, that we want to make sure that we have enough charts to fill advanced orders, and then enough charts to fill orders during the course of the stitch along, because our group is so great about posting their progress on the Facebook group that there's always people going, oh, what is that sampler and where can I get it? So we want to make sure that we've got those, but then we also want to make sure that we've got some charts left for the end of the stitch along too, when people post their finishes and stuff. So we plan that a little bit differently than other places maybe do with their limited editions. So Lucy Barber charts and supplies are all still available. Even the thread ring that we had made custom by Minnie McBean is still available for Lucy. So if you're seeing a million Lucy Barber finishes on Facebook and you decide that you just have to have her, we're happy to help you out with that. And so that's Lucy Barber. So like I said, I really enjoyed Lucy, and I'm anticipating that the upcoming stitch along and Jonson I'm going to love just as much, but we're going to talk about her in just a few minutes. But we have to talk about Hannah Campbell.
Okay.
So do you know what month we're on for the Hannah Campbell stitch along?
Oh gosh, no. I had to put together so much this morning. That was one thing that I totally forgot.
I'm pretty sure it started in June, so it must be like month
I want to say month 10.
Maybe.
I think so. So there she is in all her full glory that a lot of us will have done. August, I think, does it end?
Yeah, it was a 15-month stitch along. So
15 months. Right. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. This one throws me off because it is 15 months and, you know, other stitch alongs start and stop. And so there's the progress thus far.
She's awesome.
And of course, I'm still waiting for the Swasserfine, the one color. I think one of the birds has to be filled in with that, and some eyes, but that's okay.
Yep.
It's been fun.
I too am still waiting for that color. So my sampler is still not finished.
Right. That's okay.
Yeah, it should be here within the next couple of weeks. And it is blue.
Okay.
Let me see. And so it ends up being in a couple of birds that sit on top of the house.
Oh,
here.
okay. Okay.
Yeah. So
I feel like there was, I have to look again.
So I'll pop it in as soon as it's done. But the one thing that I do want to show you guys is I did get brave and put my initials on the sampler, even though it wasn't finished. And usually I don't do that because I feel like it jinxes me, right? So if I put 2024 on a sampler, maybe it won't actually get finished.
I am the same way. I will not sign it and date it until it's the very, very last thing that I do. And I don't know if it's a jinx thing or I just feel that is the final stitch. I don't know. But
I've been living in eternal optimism that thread was going to arrive, but it hasn't yet, but it should be here within the next couple of weeks. So anyways, here is, this end. Yes, this is where I tucked in my initials. I just used the alphabet. I know it's super dark. Okay. There's a better way to do that. In the corner there, I just used the alphabet and the lettering from the sampler and did it over one.
Right. Good idea. So lots of ideas for people if they, need ideas. I'm full of ideas for initials and stitching those initials. Now, was that over one or over two?
Over one.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm really happy with the way that it worked out. It's one of my favorites so far. So, and I put in the accentuate metallic in the windows, I think, since I saw you guys last, and that turned out great. I'm really happy with the effect of that. So, yeah. I
forgot to look at that on yours. So, does it show sparkly?
It's pretty sparkly. Want to see it again?
Yes, please. Now that you brought it up, I actually was looking at other things. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, it really picks up on the camera.
It's a fun add to the sampler, that's for sure.
It really is. Yeah. It was a good idea of Nicola's to substitute that for the beads that are not available.
So, yeah, I agree. So she was a lot of fun. She was an intense sampler, lots going on in there. So it's no wonder why she was a 15-month stitch along.
Yeah. Yeah, for those that are doing it and are grumbling a little bit, just hang in there. It's, you know, it's worth the work.
Yeah, yeah, she's a fun sampler.
She is.
So now we get to talk about the Jonson sampler. So Jonson is the Traditional Stitches exclusive limited edition Hands Across the Sea sampler for 2024. So that means that we are the only place that you can buy the chart. And we will be running this 12-month stitch along, and the print run that we've done is the last print run. So once it sells out, there won't be any more, but we do have quite a few left. So yeah. So if you haven't already ordered the Jonson sampler, you're going to see on our Facebook group lots of people are posting pictures of their kits laid out as they arrived, and they look great, and that's always so exciting to see. And now that we're at the stitch along start date, you'll see lots of people putting their first stitches in their linen, which is always exciting and inspirational. So still time to join us, and our Facebook group, which is linked below if you would like. Okay, so Rose, you had done a 12-month layout for the Jonson sampler.
So I've already posted that a couple of weeks ago. You'll find it in the featured, and I think I put it in the album. So it's pretty easy to find for those that need to check.
Perfect. But I'm just gonna insert a quick photo of it here. Okay, so this is the chart for the sampler. And we are both upper left-hand corner starters, so that's what made sense for us. So, now I know you're behaving yourself because you're the stitch along leader, and that's your job.
I've got a few eyes watching me.
Yeah. Okay, so my job is to stitch ahead and find any problems and get a shop model done. So I'm doing my job. Jonson is a bigger sampler than we've done before for stitch along, but we still thought 12 months was really doable. But the other reason why we got to get her done in 12 months is because there's going to be another one hot on its tails. That's going to be an extra special sampler for Traditional Stitches 25th anniversary in 2025. So that's on our horizon too.
Yes.
Okay, so what's your strategy for starting this new sampler?
Well, as you can see, I'll just show she is already on my scroll rods. I tightened it just for the moment, but I'll loosen it up. I don't know if you can see, I'll bring it in close. So I've already put my basting stitch where my corner is, and I'm doing 3 inches by 3 inches. There's plenty of fabric to do that. Yep. And the nice thing with Jonson is the first stitch is right in the corner of that 3 inch. I don't have to count down. And see, you can probably recognize the needle minder. That's from Lucy Barber. So there's my reminder. And I've just put a pin stitch already in that corner. I haven't put in the first stitch. And so after this video, maybe sometime before lunch, I'll actually do a video or do a still photo, I'm not exactly sure, of my first stitch. And that's where I'm gonna go. So upper left hand, and it's a little bit ghosted, but there's a little bit of a vine that attaches to that meandering border. I will start that first, and then I'll get into the border and do the meandering border, and then those strawberries. So, and then move on from there.
Do you want to see my little start?
I kind of do.
So that's it.
So pretty.
So that's that faint line you were just talking about, and that's going to be your starting point up there. I actually started a little bit differently than you did. I took the central marker on the graph, you know, the dark diamond pointing down in the middle, and found the middle of my fabric and just started down, and it was about here. So I started in the middle, and then I worked to that corner.
So do you have a reason why you would have done that? Just curious.
just more centering the fabric on the chart on the fabric, making
Okay.
the biggest use and making it look nice and centered on the
Okay.
piece of fabric. There's plenty of fabric in most of all of the cuts. If there were a couple of different counts where there was about a 2-inch border instead of our standard 3-inch, but that was just to keep the fabric in the affordability point of view.
Okay.
As opposed to bumping up to the next standard cut size. But the website says that, and the invoices say that. And so the people who have I think it's 2 different counts of fabric that are a little bit scant in one direction. So,
if I can just speak a little bit about borders, generally speaking, samplers, or any other stitching, we give a 3-inch margin. Sometimes like a 2-inch margin works okay also. And even talking to our framer one time, she says, I can frame with as little as 1 inch. However, what you end up running into is perhaps not your issue, but maybe the issue coming from the supplier that it was cut uneven. So what might be, let's say, 27 inches could go down to 25 inches without realizing. And so you may put in that border and realize you come with not enough border. And talking to some individuals, this is what has happened to them. So just play it safely and put in the 3 inches. And yeah, we've got enough.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and as there are videos, and I think Nicola's even done some about squaring up your fabric to start if you're worried that you have a little bit of a jaggedy cut, or you can always base your outside stitch count to just around the outside frame, just to make sure if you're a little bit worried, or center it like I did. But so colors. Like this is going to be such a beautiful jewel tone sampler. This is a bundle of the 100/3. Oh, so pretty. This is the DMC there, and this SWAT LJ here.
Look at you go.
Even right side.
Yeah, well,
yes,
something's got to go.
Like, yum! I just can't wait to see more of it come together.
Yeah.
I'm going to definitely zip ahead and try and get it done so that it can be framed in on the wall in the shop.
Right.
But the other advantage of me going ahead is I can tell you, Anne Johnson's meandering border is not predictable. So, Nicola's talked about this too, where you go and you just count all of the runs, the upward runs, the cross runs, the back down runs, and write that number of stitches in there. Anne is between 13 and 15 on those angular runs on her vine. So don't fool yourself into getting comfortable and thinking that you can predict what she's done, because you can't.
Right. These are little girls that, they counted, but they weren't always focused. So, and I mean, as adults, we're not always focused either. So,
nope, so true. So, so hopefully everybody can pay attention to that. One thing, so we sent out the PDF, right, for the chart. That's just the one-page chart. So because I started in the middle and I was working my way to the left, I was already facing a page overlap and swearing about it. And then I thought, but I've got this PDF. It's going to solve all my problems. So it's just a matter of getting used to using it as a resource.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't really worked off of the PDF on my, not my laptop, pardon me, my iPad at all. This might be the time to do it, especially for those counting those borders. That's where I will end up making mistakes. There was one other, was it Lucy Barber, that had different numbers of borders, sometimes 13, sometimes 14. I think it was Lucy.
Yeah,
there's been a couple as of late.
Yep. So we always have to pay attention.
You bet.
So in the first month, in the first section of Anne Johnson, it's all cross stitch over 2. There are no specialty stitches and no cross stitch over 1.
Right.
In month number 2, there are a couple of different areas of specialty stitches. So we're going to talk about that in our March 14th video to get started on that and just share some strategy. And I will hopefully have that stitched so I can share a little bit about that.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. I have been asked about that. So just for those that are curious about the specialty stitches, it's coming.
Yeah. So, yep. We're here to help.
You bet.
But this is another one of those samplers where at nighttime, I don't want to stop stitching. You know, this whole thing about having to get some sleep and then actually getting up in the morning and going to work, overrated.
What is up with that? Yeah, it is.
Cutting into my stitching time.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyways, so we still have the Jonson charts. We still have thread beds, actually, believe it or not. So this was the Jonson thread bed that was made, and we still have a few of those that were for sale.
Anybody that hasn't seen these are incredibly well made. These are just fantastic. So yeah, they're very tactile also. So whether I use it for thread bed or not, or just, you know, to put my ort pieces on it, you know, and stick a needle in.
Yep. Cool. So the only linen that we're currently out of is the 38 count legacy linen in the Irish coffee. It is on order, but it's not here. And then also we're waiting on some of the Swasserfine that is the color for the cross stitch over 1, but we don't hit that until about the middle of the sampler anyways, so we don't need it to get going.
Yeah.
And so people who are placing Jonson orders, like this morning, there were a few new orders. We're aiming to get those shipped same day or next day, just so that people get them as quick as they can to jump right in on the stitch along. So feel free to do that. So Nashville. In 2 weeks from today, I will be on an airplane on my way to Nashville. The Nashville Needlework Market. So Diana has been burning her candle and has almost 300 items added to our preview section of our website. And our email inbox is full and we could easily add another 300. It's just not enough time in the day. So we are working on that on a daily basis. Sometimes there's 2 of us working on it. So so market is March 1st to 3rd, and then I will fly home on the 4th, and then we'll just start going into everything that I brought back. I do bring everything home with me on the airplane. So there's been years where there's been 400 or 500 pounds worth of stitchy goodness that I'm hand carrying. And that is actually largely because I have to go through customs in Canada when I get home, and I have to clear every single one of those things through customs. So it's just easier if I'm hand carrying the goods. So the link to the previews page is below, and we're encouraging advanced orders, welcome and strongly recommended. Especially from the international designers, and anything that is an exclusive or a limited edition item, to just help ensure that we get that for you. And to give you an idea, international designers that are on our website already are Primitive Hair, Manny Di Donna, Cottage Garden, the hand-dyed threads, and Mojo Stitches, who is also from Australia. Not on our website yet, but will be soon, that are international, is like Fox and Rabbit and MTV Designs. And I'm not sure how Fox and Rabbit is actually going to run their linen availability. I don't think that they can ship thousands of pounds of linen to market. So we'll see the new colors, I'm sure, and be able to tell you about those when we get back. But those are probably orders that will not come back with us from market. The logistics just aren't there. So if you're seeing things on social media that we haven't listed on our website yet, you are welcome to email us with a list of those items, and we'll do our darndest to pick them up. We can't add every vendor to our website. We can't add every product to our website. So, but that helps us give us a direction of where we need to be spending our shopping dollars. So definitely send those along. We're telling people you're welcome to place multiple orders, and we have systems in place to combine them. So that means that as your orders come in, we start working on them, and we do start working on them right away. As if they're kitting orders, adding threads, cutting fabric, that kind of thing. So if they come in whatever size orders, then we can get working on them right away, as opposed to great big massive orders once you feel that you've seen all the Nashville things. So multiple orders are fine. And then I guess the other thing is that thinking ahead to 2 weeks' time when I get back from market, where are we going to put it all? So we have been diligently adding new products to our sale table, and my goal is to have it like full to overflowing before market, so that we have as much space to put all the new things that I'm bringing back as possible. So keep an eye on our sale section too, because there's lots of cool things going into that. Okay, so that's the businessy detail part. And now we can get into the fun. Let's talk about the Nashville releases part of the video. So what's your number one, Rose, so far?
It changes daily. And I know I have seen on social media different ones that are not on yet. So in all fairness, I'm not going to mention them.
Okay, so, and that's a great plan, because you and I are going to do another quick video towards the end of next week, when I think that most of everything is going to be on our website. So today we're going to talk about our top 5-ish list that is currently on the website, and then next week we'll tackle the rest. And I say top 5-ish because we end up making our list totally independent and coming together for the video, and then there's always overlaps. So
I was good.
I love this part. I think it's so much fun. So,
well, you know, one of my most favorite designers is Jeanette Douglas. There is nothing that I say, no, I don't care for it. I like everything she does. So that's probably my top. And yesterday it was different than today. So today's love from Jeanette Douglas is called Needle Be True.
See, right out of the gate, we're on the same one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then yesterday it was, she does the little boxes with different things. And I love smalls. You know, as much as I love the samplers, I love the small things too. So, but Needle Be True, that's absolutely gorgeous. Jeanette, you knocked it out of the park. It is number one.
Yeah. And so Jeanette Douglas is a local designer to us. She lives in the same city as I do, and an hour's drive or so from Rose. So we're just so lucky. Good job, Jeanette.
Yes, yes, very good. And then the rest of them are in no particular order. I am going to mention my second one. They're a newish designers. They're sisters, and their company name is called My Sisters Samplers. And there's quite a few that they have. The one I picked for today is Selena Duneen, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a very pretty little balanced sampler. I should have had the picture in front of me. I don't.
I'm going to insert it right here so that people can see what we're talking about.
Perfect. Okay, the next one came out, I'd say over a year ago, and it was a retreat piece or an exclusive piece by Needlework Press, and it's called Anne Kirby, and it has a yellow house. And people talk about red houses, but for some reason these yellow mustard color houses really they capture me. Maybe because I live in a yellow house, I don't know. And I know the farmhouse is a yellow house.
The shop is located, is a yellow farmhouse.
So okay, I've always liked that.
I'll put a picture of it in here too.
Okay. I think this next one, oh gosh, is it a blue house? It's Old Willow Stitchery, and it's called Isabella White. And I'm trying to remember if that's the one with the blue house. Don't quote me on that one, but I really like that one. And the last one is a Queenstown Sampler Designs, and it is called Susanna Lawton. So those were my 5 choices, and one that is, okay, so number 6, that is totally different. And this gal has an eye for design, totally different than anything. It is Works by ABC. And the one, it's called 324.
Yeah.
And it's just totally different. She uses 324 different DMC colors.
Yeah, that was her inspiration when I wrote that up for the website yesterday. I just copied and pasted her words that she said, that she thought, oh, well, I'll just design something that uses all 324 colors in the DMC line. The chart does also include instructions if you only want to use 36 colors. But she says, who hasn't bought the whole line of DMC? And, you know, quite a few people do have the whole line, so.
Arlene has a way of working with colors, and she does a lot of color study. And I'm just really impressed by what she does. So this one needed an honorable mention, I think. So,
sure. Yeah,
that's my
list.
Was
fun. We talked about it in the shop quite a bit while we were adding it to bouncing
cool.
ideas.
Yeah.
So, those are great choices, Rose. And I'm surprised that we only had one that was overlap. So. So here are my top 5 in no specific order, and I will be sure to insert the pictures as we go. Okay. So we have added a few new designers to the shop in this market, including the Proper Stitcher, the My Sister's Samplers, like you mentioned, and also Samplers and Primitives. I couldn't resist adding those to our assortment. And you pointed out a couple of reproduction samplers, and there is a great number and great variety of reproduction samplers coming out at market this year. So look at them all because they're so different and so many details. So, so the first one on my list is Blue Flowers Prayse of Pollinators. So that it's a sampler that is just packed with honeysuckle and bats and hummingbird, and I believe, I didn't look too closely, I think there's a moth in there, and so I'm gonna have to forgive her for that, but
okay.
I could do spiders or snakes or anything, but moths just whoa.
Okay, that's funny. I mean, you know, in a funny and a good way.
Yeah.
So,
but it's such a fun design, and there's so much packed in there, and it's just so pretty. The colors are beautiful, so that's definitely one of my top choices. I just might have to put something in place of the moth.
Butterfly.
Yeah, well, there is a butterfly on it for sure.
Is there?
Oh. So yeah. Another one that I chose is Primrose Cottage Snowman 2024, which I'll insert a picture, but it's just a tiny little Christmas design that's sweet and doable, and yeah, just worth having. My other choice was Teresa Kogut's Serenity Sampler, and based on the number of orders that we've had so far for it, everybody agrees with us that it is just a really lovely design. It's got such a nice soothing color palette and all kinds of different elements into it, and so that's one of my top choices. And I did have Jeanette's Needle Be True sampler. I actually took that as a class from her a couple years ago, so I have it started, and this is inspiring me to pull it back out and get a few more stitches in it.
There you go.
Another one that really appealed to me is Hello from Liz Matthews, the sampler, Remember Me sampler with the tree. It is just a really sweet
Okay.
design. And I think Liz Matthews' color choices are awesome this year. All of her designs are really aesthetically lovely. So be sure to check them out. But this one particularly appealed to me. And then my sixth one, which I had in my pocket because I knew we'd agree on at least one, is the sampler, reproduction sampler from Needlework Press. That is the Phoebe VY1, where it is vertical alphabets instead of horizontal alphabets. Okay. And it was just so unique that it really stood out to me. So. See that. Yeah. So there's a ton more to come. I know Diana's at the shop today working hard, and as soon as I get this video up and live, I'm going to be at it again too. We've got Heart and Hand, Plum Street, Fox and Rabbit, Kathy Barrick. All the new thread colors that are coming out. So Weeks will have new threads, Gentle Art, Gloriana. Classic Colorworks will have new colors. Those, though, we probably won't have up until actually at market when we can take pictures of them and post how many new colors there are and what the details are of that. We still have Heartstring Samplery, Hands-on Design, Summer House. So there's still lots to come. So and just keep checking back and choosing your favorites. So. 2 weeks, just 2 weeks.
It's gonna fly by. It's gonna come and go so quickly. There's a couple of designers that you don't have yet that have smalls, and I'm just smitten with a couple of them. So didn't mention them. We'll wait till next week.
We'll talk about them next week when they're up on the website.
Exactly.
Okay, so that people will be able to go and look and see exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. So I do have a short hand-dyed linen parade here. Some of them you've seen before, but these are all fabrics that we've got a good amount in stock of right now. If you need a fairly quick fix of hand-dyed linens. The first ones that I'm going to show you are Picture This Plus, and I'm thrilled to say that Picture This Plus order fulfillment timeframe is tightening up a bit. We're seeing signs of that. So in the last month, we've actually received 3 orders from Picture This Plus, and another one is on its way. So
that's unheard of.
Yeah, so that's promising and hopeful, and they're going to be at market, and I think they're going to have new colors. So it'll be interesting to hear, they obviously have plans to catch up and stuff with their productions. So that's really great. Okay, so the first one that I have is 40 count Ancient.
Yeah.
It's such a unique color, hey?
It lends itself to so many things. I have stitched in ink circles on it years ago, and I've seen other people use it for different things. And it has this, well, as the name implies, ancient, almost like a manuscript or a parchment kind of. So it can lend itself to a lot of things.
Kathleen in our shop did a long dog sampler called Band of Braves on it, and it just turned out awesome. So yeah, it really is an interesting fabric.
It is.
Okay, next is 40 count Oaken. Oaken's been a color that's been hard to actually keep in stock, but look at this, I have some. 40 count Sand. So a really great neutral, but look at that beautiful modeling in there. This is 36 count Velp. So it's got some good green, like a foresty background or something like that would just be Halloween-y, like a black Halloween silhouette kind of thing. Great for that. This is Tycho in 40 count. So it's a neutral with a little bit of gray undertone.
Okay.
And 40 count Valor. So this is a dusty gray. It's looking more blue in the video, I think, than it actually is. It's more sagey. in color, but
Nice.
And then, believe it or not, we still have some needle and flax in stock. This is 36 count Brea. I just love seeing these colors.
So nice.
These textures in the modeling. And this is the same color Brea in 40 count. And then 36 Steinbeck. So it's kind of a gray green, but if you've got a dark background sampler, it just is a great choice for that.
It is.
Yes. 40 count Hawthorne. 46 count Sleeping Bear. This Sleeping Bear color has been super popular in our shop. I think the 36 and the 40 are all maybe gone or down to small pieces, but this is the 46 count and I have a full yard of that. So, and then 46 count Steinbeck.
Okay. Nice.
And then Mason linens. So they are working on a really big order for our shop, and like it might be overwhelmingly sized order. But we should start to get some boxes in the next couple of weeks. I'm hoping like to get something Nashville timeframe. There are quite a few designers who are publishing things for Nashville that are used Mason linens. And at this point, the shops that are carrying it are Attic and us at Traditional Stitches. But Patty, who is dyeing it, is a one-woman show, and she is super specific about the quality of her fabric, how it comes out and goes to the shop. So we really appreciate that quality control. But it does mean that it's not instantaneously available fabric. But so just hang tight, place your order, hang tight. We'll get it to you when we can. And she's always working on an order for us. So we really appreciate that. So I have some of the limited edition colors here to show you. And so, you know, sometimes you change dye formula or something like that, or you're playing around with color and you end up with these limited edition. And Patty says, do you want them? And I say, oh yeah, yes, please. So here, I'll show them to you. Okay, so they're numbered. So this is limited edition number 1, and it is 40 count. So just a really nice neutral, maybe a little bit of maybe a little bit to the pink, not just rosy more than
a blush sort of.
Yeah, good
Nice.
work. This is 40 count limited edition number 2, and it's more tan than number 1.
Yes,
that's number 2.
I can see that.
This is limited edition number 4, and it is like a mocha kind of Week Style Works Mocha Havana in that color family. So that's a really great choice. 40 count. This is limited edition number 5.
Okay.
And this is limited edition number 7. It might be my favorite.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of a golden tanny kind of color to it. So love it. And this is limited edition number 8, which is just really another neutral, really great neutral. It maybe goes a little bit to the gray. Reminds me of platinum, like Zweigart's platinum.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Yeah. So those are choices, and you'll find them in the section of our website, the usual place, and there'll be a link in the description box for that too.
Great.
All right. So what else you been working on, Rose?
Well, I'm working on, today is my last, last night was my last evening of that map of Holland. And I'll put that aside starting today. And I'm also working on peacock, unicorn, and badger, along with the rest of the world, it seems.
Yeah, that's great seeing all those pictures online. I love it.
I know. I was just looking for the chart. Oh, it's over here. Pardon me. So I'm pretty sure it doesn't need no introduction, but just in case somebody has been living under a rock or has been abroad, that is and it's affectionately known as the pub crawl, or some people are calling it peacorn. We won't name names. So my piece is on large scroll rods. I have got it right. So
oh yeah.
So I mean, I'm anxiously waiting to get back to her, but you know, what I've been working on right now, I have been enjoying. The map is very different than what I normally do, and I'm working in conjunction with my oldest sister. And I was talking to her yesterday, and she says, you know, for the amount of work that it is, it's so different. She says, when you get a motif done, it's so satisfying. So I'm sure that most people can say that for anything that they're working on when it's motif related. You get it done and you look back and you go, oh, that feels so good. That's so nice. So, and the other thing I'm tentatively going to start, and I'm balking because it is so overwhelmingly intense. There is a leap year SAL. So it starts officially February 29th, 2024, pardon me, and ends February 29th, 2028. And I tentatively am on board for a piece that I know is going to be familiar to you. And I really should have my head examined, because every time I look into it, I go, oh, I can't do this. And I don't know if you know what it is.
But I think you're going to tell me. Ooh.
The Queen Sampler.
Yeah.
And that is the one that is done by Darlene Osteen.
Yeah.
And the updated, what would you call it? An addendum by Linda Vincent.
Yeah, so the stitch guide. So
there's a good word for it. Yeah. So
Linda stitched the Queen Sampler probably like 6 or 7 years ago, and she published the stitch guide to update colors, like dye lots had changed.
Yes.
And materials had changed. And to add more colors, she thought it needed more colors. She kind of enhanced it in some ways and stuff too. So the stitch guide calls for quite a lot more thread than the original sampler did. But I think that the stitch guide greatly enhances the experience of the sampler. So yeah.
That's a good word for it. It's an experience. And I don't want to have my head undo me. I got to get out of my head and just start it. But I looked at it again yesterday and I just shook my head, and it's like overwhelming. You know the old saying about how do you eat an elephant, one bite at a time? That's exactly what I have to do. So, you know, not only do you have the main pattern, the stitch guide, and then of course my linen. I have all the floss, and there's some extra things in here.
Some metallics.
Beads, metallics. I feel like there's something else by access commodities. And then, oh, there it is. Because it's not, so it's gilt miliary, which I've never worked with. So, and then of course they recommend the proper stitch.
Right.
And Amy Mitten's Guide to the Montengrin Stitch.
Right. So I have started that sampler. Actually, I just recently found it in my tossing of my sewing room. So maybe you will inspire me to get back to it. Now, Amy's book, Amy's Autopsy of the Montengrin Stitch, is available. We've got it in the shop. And so if you have any desire for 17th century band samplers, get that book by far. The proper stitch, though, I don't even know if it's still available on DVD. I don't think so. So if somebody's looking for that, they probably have to find it on the secondary market.
Correct. I don't even know if you can find it off of Amazon. I'm not sure where I picked mine up. Maybe years ago I bought it from you.
Yeah, we used to have them in the shop when they were still in print.
I bought it in December of 2014. So it's almost 10 years ago.
Oh, well, there you go.
And so do some searching. There are buy and sell platforms on Facebook that you can actually go on and request if anybody has it for sale. I'm sure where there's a will, there's a way. And there may be a moment or two that I might be picking your brain just in case, but I think it's a matter of just have to start.
Yeah.
Are you doing yours reversibly?
I don't think so. You know, there's something to be said for doing it reversibly and doing it authentically to the way that it would have been done or was meant to be done. Like, that's not a reproduction sampler, that is in the style of sampler. And so there's something to be said for doing it historically correctly. There's also something to be said for actually being able to get it done.
Yes.
And I kind of lean towards the second.
I was like, do I want to do it historically or do I want to do it sanely? There's nothing wrong with doing it historically. It's a great way stretching your skills. I'm just not sure if my headspace is prepared for that. Yeah. Nicola had a good video last week, and I think she has something else about band samplers. And she did talk about doing reversibly and whether you really need to, want to, and yeah. So it's a decision. I think I know which way I'm going to go.
Yeah. And even if you do a part of it, like if you have a band that you want to stitch reversibly, start it trying to be reversible and see how you feel about it. And if you switch to non-reversible, there's nothing wrong with that too.
No,
but
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good point. So you know, now that I have like 4 big things, it's like it almost seems overwhelming. 4 or 5, I've lost track. I think I'm going to have to just circulate them once a week or whenever they hit on the month, and just work on them for a few days and up to 7 days. And I think that's how I'm going to have to do it sanely, because I'm a little overwhelmed. Some people can just, let's start at something new. And I can't quite do that.
No, I'm not that way either, but fair enough that you feel that way. And so you have to do what makes you enjoy it, because if you lost your enjoyment, that would be a shame.
It would be. Yeah. So
all right. Well, the only thing that I've got on my head that's filling my brain and spilling out of my ears is Nashville.
I know.
You and I are going to do a quick video towards the end of next week that is Nashville preview countdown or something like that. We'll decide what the exact format's going to be. And then our next actual stitch along related video is going to be on March 14th.
Correct.
And we'll probably talk about some more Nashville things that have come out or that caught our eye in the meantime. But then we'll talk about the second month of the Ann Jonson stitch along and get everybody going into some of those specialty stitches. So
yeah, that's right. That's right. So they will be addressed. Anybody that is worried. So
yep. You betcha. Okay, well, I know people are chomping at the bits for this video, so I'm gonna go edit it, insert a whole bunch of pictures, and get it up published. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Yes, we had a bit of snow here earlier and it stopped. So, but I think Ann Jonson is calling my name. So.
Okay, well, you post some pictures.
I will. I sure will.
Okay, thanks, Rose.
Thanks, Janet. Take care.
Talk to you soon.
Bye. Bye-bye.